Friends, today we're checking out this handheld. It's the RP Nova, Retroid Pocket's very latest offering. It's a compact, lightweight retro powerhouse featuring Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 performance and a 4.5-inch 4x3 screen. I've really been looking forward to this handheld. Regular viewers of my videos know I've called several handhelds my dream device. But those handhelds didn't quite meet all the requirements for a dream device in some way. Odin 2 Mini, for instance, weighs 332 grams, over 260 grams. The RP5 has a Snapdragon 865, slightly weaker than the 870, weighing 280 grams, just off. The Pocket Ace weighs 310 grams, also off. Pimax Portal is 380 grams. However, the RP Nova weighs a mere 256 grams, placing it well under the 260 gram threshold. Among Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 handhelds, it is absolutely the lightest, without a doubt. For the very first time in years, a handheld fully meets all my dream device requirements, which truly makes this handheld my ultimate dream machine. Let's review this handheld. The RP Nova uses a Qualcomm QCS8550 processor. Despite its odd name, it's the industrial IoT version of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, minus the baseband. Its CPU and GPU performance are identical to the 8 Gen 2. Antutu benchmark, it scores 1.74 million, normal for Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. This processor is powerful, and it supports 32-bit applications, making it a perfect processor for a retro handheld. Storage offers 8 plus 128 gigabytes, or it has LPDDR5X memory, UFS 3.1 storage, a 5000 mAh battery, and 27W charging. It supports Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.3. Now, let's take a look at the handheld screen. This 4.5-inch 4x3 OLED screen, customized by RP's owner after selling his house, features 1280 by 960 resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. Regarding OLED screens, flicker from dimming is a common concern. So, let's test it. At 1/4000th shutter speed, with max brightness, only one horizontal line slowly moves across the screen. This indicates DC dimming. Now, let's lower the brightness. When brightness drops to 40%, it switches to PWM dimming. So, for everyday use, it's better for your eyes to maintain brightness above 40% with DC dimming. Let's use a microscope to observe the screen's arrangement. Under the microscope, this screen uses a diamond pixel arrangement considered the best for OLEDs. In my actual experience, the screen's color, brightness, and uniformity all compare it with the screen on the KTR-1. The KTR-1 also has a custom 4.7-inch LCD screen. You can see the OLED screen's colors are more vibrant, while the LCD screen below seems a bit more natural in the transitions between light and dark areas. The OLED's saturation is so high, it feels like some detail is lost. Both are 1280 by 960. Let's change the wallpaper to compare. On this cool tone background, their differences seem a little smaller. This 4.5-inch 4x3 1280 by 960 120Hz display is ideal for retro gaming. We looked on a retro game Pixel Perfect website and found that this size and resolution allows 7 nostalgic systems to achieve a pixel perfect display. And for other non-pixel perfect systems, the black bars after integer scaling are also relatively small. All in all, this screen looks great. It feels like the RP owner didn't sell the farm for nothing. However, if I absolutely had to mention a shortcoming, I would say that the saturation feels a little too high, which leads to some details getting lost. I'll look for a tool to adjust it later. Now let's move on to the other parts of the handheld console. The D-pad and buttons, a familiar layout, are in RP's characteristic style. The D-pad uses a rubber pad with a dome switch, ensuring a soft feel while maintaining great accuracy. The ABXY buttons are soft, injected rubber, and these are not only soft, but quieter. And it uses 2 Hall effect joysticks. They have light strips on them that you can turn on. Besides the 4 front keys, M1, M2 buttons are by the shoulder keys. The shoulder buttons are stacked. L1, R1 are micro switches. The 2 triggers are linear. The handheld has an active cooling fan. A dust filter is visible through the holes. Finally, the dust filter is on the air intake. Tops the exhaust, showing heatsink fins. And on the bottom of the handheld console, there's a full-featured Type-C port that supports video output. 3.5mm jack. Next, the actual game test. Starting with PS2 games. With the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2's performance, Most PS2 games run smoothly at 4x resolution. Since 4x resolution would far exceed this screen's maximum, 3x is usually perfectly fine for everyday use. At 3x res, God of War is always full frame rate, no frame skip or general readback either. For PS2 games, the fewer settings you tweak, the more stable the game will be, ensuring smoother gameplay overall. If our handheld device lacks sufficient performance, we might need various settings which could potentially lead to game crashes. However, with a powerful handheld console, you practically won't need to adjust many settings at all. Frame rate is super stable, solid 60 frames per second, no drops. And now I can really feel the handheld's vibration. It features a linear motor, so the haptic feedback is quite similar to what you'd experience on a smartphone. For example, with Persona 2, if you want to test it, go to the forest. The red fog in the forest is something many machines struggle with. Currently, it's at 3x resolution. Even without the red fog removal, it's incredibly smooth. This is only possible due to the powerful Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Gran Turismo 4 as well. And Gran Turismo 4 also runs very smoothly. Still 3 times resolution. These games I'm testing are all heavy hitters, so they're at 3x. Easier games can easily handle 4x. For the GBA, I currently have it set to a pixel-perfect display, focusing right on this central area. The surrounding part, though, is a reflective mask crafted by Mr. Dagwang Quan, creating a very unique and interesting visual effect, adding depth and visual intrigue. The GBA picture with pixel-perfect display also looks very comfortable. Now for 3DS games. Here I'm using a mask made by Mr. Dagwang Chuan from Pegasus Front. This handheld console can also use a secondary screen. Let's connect it, and this is what it looks like. With Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, 3DS games run smoothly at 4x. Very smooth. Touch input works fine. Let's check NDS games. Top screen is 5.5, bottom is 4.5. 5.5 inches at 4x3 is 4.5, so both screens are the same size. This main console is actually very well suited for playing NDS games. It fits perfectly in your hands for a truly immersive experience. If it's a single screen NDS, it can also have a mask. A single screen NDS looks like this, or like this. Next, let's examine PSP games. Their effective display area is about 4.1 inches. PSP games run smoothly even at 10x resolution, but 4x is sufficient for normal use. Now let's play some arcade games, see the controls. Moves are good. Next, we'll take a look at the NS emulator. Some of you might be thinking, why play NS games on a 4x3 screen? Wouldn't a 16:9 device be better? Well, you're not wrong, but sometimes, say, if you only want to carry one handheld console, you'd want that one device to be able to play all the games you want. This handheld's performance is perfectly adequate for NS games, though the screen is a tad small. When this 4.5-inch 4x3 screen shows 16:9 content, the display area is about 4.15 inches. As you can see, Breath of the Wild runs very smoothly at 30 frames per second. The current NS emulators are now quite polished, with significant improvements in both optimization and drivers. Okay, that concludes today's game demo. Most of you know the 8 Gen 2's performance. As a 4x3 high-performance pocket rocket handheld console, I think the RP Nova is pretty close to perfect in every aspect. Whether it's performance, screen, volume, weight, or feel, there are no obvious shortcomings in any area. The sound quality is also good. This handheld will likely be my primary fighter for quite some time. I'm very satisfied with it. So, that's all for today's video. If you have any thoughts, feel free to leave a comment below. As usual, in a few days, I'll make a beginner's guide for this handheld. If you're interested, please subscribe. See you next time. Bye!